Thank you for joining us this morning. I want to welcome rabbis from across the city of Albany and other distinguished members of the Jewish community who have joined me, as well as Tandra Legrone from In Our Own Voices, who we're going to hear from. I want to acknowledge that we're joined by Dr. Dorcia Pleers, our Chief City Auditor, Darius Shanfar, our Treasurer. We're going to hear from our Police Chief, as well as from Senator Fahey, our District Attorney, Lee Kinlan. We are also joined by a representative from Gabriela Romero's office. We're going to hear from Deborah Zamer, who's a council member who has been really instrumental in bringing us all together. I'm also joined and very grateful to be joined by a number of members of our Common Council, including our Council President, Corey Ellis, as well as Ginny Farrell, who's the Majority Leader, Tom Hoey, Richard Conti wanted to be here, and he's traveling back, but very much wanted to be here. Sergio Adams, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate the support. We're going to hear from Rabbi Weitzman as well as Tandra Legrone, but we're also joined by the JCC. We have representatives here from the JCC, from the Jewish Federation, and the Pride Center of the Capital Region. So we're here today, and you're going to hear from Brendan Cox, because there's been an alarming rise in the number of incidents, hate crimes, particularly targeted to the Jewish community, but also targeted to the LGBTQ community. When I receive shift reports, which tell me about police activity, it has been stunning to me the number of incidents where we are seeing hate directed at people because of who they are. And it is unacceptable here in the city of Albany for anyone to be directing hateful words, much less criminal activity, graffiti, destruction of property. Unacceptable here in the city of Albany. And I could not wait any longer, because members of the Jewish community in many instances have been suffering in silence. We have not come forward to say, this cannot stand. Not here in the city of Albany, not anywhere in this country. We are better than that. We need to be better than that. And so I stand here with these elected officials, including our district attorney, including our police chief, to say to you that we stand with you and that we are calling on the community to stand with you as well. You know, the late Jane Golub created a curriculum, No Place for Hate. It's taught in many of our schools. We need to ensure that we go back to the basics that we teach our children. And that is that no matter where you're from, no matter what you believe, no matter what color your skin is, and no matter who you love, you are a member of this community. And you are welcome here, and you should be safe here. I'd like to ask our police chief to come up and say a few words.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to thank Mayor Sheehan for her leadership and all of the speakers here today for coming together to speak out on this ever important issue. As the mayor said, this is a diverse community. This is a great community. One of the things I've loved about growing up in Albany and serving Albany is our diversity, and is our ability to come together as one community, not separate communities, and to make sure that everyone is safe and everyone feels safe. And that is something we need to continue to do. So to put this as simple as I can, this issue is about stopping hate. In the case of the police department, it's about making sure that hate does not lead to criminal activity. Whether that comes in the form of assault, criminal mischief, or harassment, it's unacceptable, and we need to make sure that as a community together, that we come together to make sure that that does not happen. So as a police department, we'll continue to work together with our partners in law enforcement, including the District Attorney's Office, to bring swift justice to these cases. We'll investigate them to the full extent of what we can, using all of our tools that are at our hands to bring them to justice. And we'll also work with our community partners to ensure that these incidents come to a stop. So we make sure that we work with all of our community partners to make people aware when an incident happens, to make sure that we do education, that we do deterrence. Those are very important. And we'll make sure they come to a stop. So it doesn't matter if it's a victim of the Jewish community, the LGBTQ community, the Muslim community. It doesn't make a difference. We cannot have these things happen. We can't have people negatively impacted by hate crimes, and our community will not stand for those. It's a human issue. That's what this is about. It's about humanity. It's about our community, and we need to make sure that does not happen. What I ask of the community is that we make sure that if you feel that you have been victimized, no matter what that is, that you contact us. If you have an immediate threat, you call 911. If you have something that happened that you believe occurred, that you think you were victimized by, 438-4000 is our non-emergency number, that you give us an opportunity to investigate that, to ensure that we do the most thorough job we can to ensure that if you are a victim, that we can bring justice to a swift turn, and that we can make sure that you get the resources you need. Because when I talk about meeting with our community partners, we're going to make sure that any resources that are available to you. So we do not want you to feel alone. We want you to know that we are with you and that you have a community that's behind you, and that we will make sure that resources are there. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank our partners for being here. And I'm going to turn things over to Lee Kinlan, the Albany County District Attorney.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. I stand with the men and women behind me to reaffirm our commitment to making sure that everybody in the community knows that the District Attorney's Office and the members of law enforcement, the members of government, the members of the community are standing against hate. As the District Attorney here in Albany County, it's my priority to make sure that members of our community feel safe in their homes, safe in their places of worship, safe on the street as they walk to and from. And I'll do everything in my power to make sure that those responsible for those responsible for hatred will feel the weight of my office. You know, I know we're here today to talk about those in the Jewish community who have felt this rise, and you need to know that I take it personally. And all of us have members of our own family, members of our community who have gone through this. And I tell you something, it's not good when I start to take something personally, because I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to be there every step of the way with the full weight of my office to look out for you. So please know that you have a partner in the District Attorney's Office, you have a partner in the community, and we will stand there and make sure that you have our protection, and I have your back. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dorcia Pleers. I serve as the current Chief City Auditor, and I echo the sentiment standing with leaders and colleagues behind me. This is an act of solidarity. This is an act of standing together to say and declare that Albany remains a place that is welcoming to everyone, regardless of who you pray to, who you love. Albany will remain a place where people feel safe and should feel safe in their neighborhoods. Cowardly acts and hatred often dwell in dark places. And unfortunately, we have people in our community who feel strongly that those cowardly acts and hatred should be displayed in our neighborhoods. That is not the case. Through policy, through changing culture and norms, and through practice, we've heard from our DA and our police chief, those who believe that they can act in cowardly ways in hatred and also inspired by hate, this is not the city for you. This is not the city for you. Our children are going back to school, and as a mom of two, I have been preaching to my kids what it means to embrace people's differences, to show kindness, compassion, love, give grace. We all have a responsibility to train up the next generation to be able to embrace other people with love, dignity, and respect, very basic human rights. Safety is a basic human right. This is a city of neighborhoods, and what makes our neighborhoods so strong are the people who live in them. And in our neighborhoods, people deserve to have safe communities. And so with that, I thank the members of the various communities represented. We have members of our Jewish community, members of our LGBTQ+ community. We have members of our Muslim community. Thank you for showing up. Continue to speak up. Please do not suffer in silence. We cannot advance and change the dynamic and norms if we stay silent and allow cowards to prevail. So with that, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. And you have my full support. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't see the list in advance. I'm Pat Fahey, Senator Pat Fahey, and so pleased to be here today to join so many colleagues and so many members, distinguished members of the community. I need to give a special shout out. Rabbi Rubin just walked in, and to me, Rabbi Rubin has always been the epitome of somebody who has worked to make this a welcoming community and has always stood for so much. So it's wonderful to see him as a beacon of somebody who has talked about our shared humanity. And our city auditor just mentioned the schools reopening, and I was just at an event early this morning with a former school board member, and the schools are very much on my mind. And there was another former school board member who used to say many years ago, if we only focus on our differences, we will not get to our similarities and what binds us and our shared humanity, our shared commonness. And so I am proud to stand here to call out hate. It does not solve anything. It does not solve crimes. It does not bring us further together. If anything, it divides us. I too share the horror of October 7th, and I know so much of this relates to Israel and the Middle East. I've shared the horror of October 7th, and every day since then, we all pray for peace. I pray for it every day. We all stand in horror at the mass starvation and the war crimes. Just yesterday, I saw that Jerry Nadler, our esteemed congressman, is retiring, and I think he will be a voice who will be missed. Somebody who has been on the front lines and continued to advocate every day for the return of the hostages, which now seem to be almost a secondary issue. So yes, we need peace. Yes, we need to solve so many issues, but whether it is hate crimes of Islamophobia or any form of Jewish hatred, LGBTQ, anything, it is just not acceptable. It's not who we are. It will not bring us closer, and it will not solve anything. So as I see that such an amazing voice of peace and more, Jerry Nadler is stepping down. He's on my mind as somebody who I think will be lost in this community, and I thank you all for joining us here, and we really pray for a calm and peaceful start to the school year for all of our youth, whether elementary, secondary, or higher ed. Thank you.
Thank you. First, I really need to thank Mayor Sheehan for calling this press conference and bringing attention to this issue. And I especially want to thank Chief Brendan Cox, who has taken every incident of anti-Semitism seriously. The City of Albany stands united against all forms of hatred. And it is the uptick in anti-Semitic incidents that I need to highlight. We are here to unequivocally condemn the harassment of our residents. Not only am I the only Jewish, my name is Deborah Zamer, by the way. I'm a Common Council member, if I forgot to introduce myself. I'm the only Jewish member of the Common Council, and I also represent a district with a sizable Jewish population, several of whom have been affected by acts of graffiti or harassment over the past nearly 2 years. The fact is, in 2024, the FBI recorded the highest number of anti-Semitic hate crimes since it began collecting this data in 1991. Recently, it's become clear that the ugly face of anti-Semitism has become more emboldened, and that leaders across the city must speak out against it. We represent constituents of many different religions, and every one of them must be able to walk the streets without fear of harassment. There is no justification for targeting and harassing Jewish families walking on the street. There is no justification for painting anti-Semitic graffiti in our parks, on our telephone poles, on our bus stops, on our stop signs. There is no justification for painting ugly anti-Semitic slogans on the sidewalks in front of Jewish homes. There is no justification for shooting up a Jewish synagogue full of children in our city. Rhetoric blaming all Jews for the politics of some is anti-Semitic and is dangerous. Lies about Jews have been used for millennia throughout Europe and the Middle East as justification for violence against Jewish communities. So when rhetoric out there claims that Jews have blood on our hands and we are called genocide supporters, well, we know that that is cause for real concern, especially in light of targeted violent attacks in other parts of the country by perpetrators spouting that same hateful rhetoric. To be clear, harassment against Jews is no more important than harassment against any other minority group, but it is also not less important. In this moment in time, I call attention to the Jewish residents who have been harassed locally for reasons that they do not and cannot control, and for their identity, which for many of us is intertwined with our ancient homeland of Israel. Thank you again to Mayor Sheehan for calling leaders together today to speak out loudly against these hate crimes, and to Chief Cox and the entire Albany Police Department for working tirelessly to keep us safe. And now I get to introduce my rabbi, wise beyond his years, and chaplain of the Albany Police Department, Rabbi Greg Weitzman.
So as well, thank you very much to Mayor Sheehan for calling us together, and thank you to Councilmember Zamer for your powerful words and, of course, your courage over these last number of years to bring forth not just issues of rising anti-Semitism, but to really be a beacon of justice in a time of darkness. And while I stand here today as rabbi and as chaplain, in both roles, I see how deeply people long to feel safe in their homes. People long to feel safe in their places of worship and on our city streets. That longing is universal. When members of the Jewish community are harassed with graffiti, shouted at on sidewalks, or made to fear gathering in their synagogues, it wounds not only the Jewish community, it wounds the entire city. Hatred of one group is never contained. It corrodes the bonds of trust that all of us depend on. Our Jewish tradition teaches us that every person is created b'tselem Elohim, in the image of God. To demean or threaten any human being because of their faith, their culture, their identity is an affront to the divine spark that is within each and every single one of us. I'm incredibly grateful to Chief Cox, the brave men and women of the Albany Police Department, for their continued commitment to vigilance and safety. And I am grateful to all of the leaders that are standing here today, because together we send a clear message. Anti-Semitism, like all forms of hatred, has no place in the city of Albany. Let us stand side by side, neighbors, leaders, people of all faiths and none, to build a city where children can walk to school without fear, where families can worship in peace, and every resident can know that they are valued and protected. And may this gathering not only denounce hatred, but also renew our shared commitment to justice, dignity, and compassion for the sake of every person who calls Albany home.
Thank you, Rabbi. So I attended a program, mayors from across the country were invited to stand up against anti-Semitism back in December. And it was an incredibly enlightening experience. And one of the things that was stressed is that our dark history tells us that it starts with the Jews. Discrimination, anti-Semitism is often the first, but it is never the last. And members of the LGBTQ community know that as well. And so as we see this increase in people feeling emboldened to trample on the rights of others, we need to stand together in solidarity. And as we came together as mayors of every background, color, religion, belief system, to see us come together and realize how important this was truly empowering. And that's why I'm so grateful that Tandra Lagrone, who is the CEO of In Our Own Voices, has joined us as well. Tandra?
I'm about to take these glasses off. Good morning. As the mayor just mentioned, I'm Tandra Lagrone, the CEO of In Our Own Voices, and a proud member of the New York State Division of Human Rights, Capital Region Hate and Bias Prevention Council. And I see my colleague over here. Can you stand up, please? Judas Wave. Thank you. I also stand here as a survivor of hate and violence for simply wearing a rainbow scarf around my neck. So this is personal for me. We are here today on one simple and powerful message. There is no place for hate in Albany, not here, not now, not ever. Albany is a city that is built on diversity, resilience, unity. Our neighborhoods are not weakened by our differences. They are strengthened by them. Each race, each religion, each identity, each culture that calls Albany home adds to its richness of who we are. And it's precisely the diversity that makes us stronger. Keyword: together. But strength requires responsibility. When hate shows up, whether it's in words, in action, or silence, we cannot look the other way. We must confront with courage, with compassion, and with solidarity. Hate thrives only when it goes unchallenged. But love, justice, and community thrive when we stand, keyword, together. So today, I am calling on every resident, every leader, every institution, stand with us. Reaffirm the truth we all know. Hate has no home in Albany. It doesn't matter your race. Again, your religion, your creed, or who you love. Every person deserves dignity, respect, and safety. To my LGBT siblings, I see you. We stand with you. To my Jewish siblings, we see you. We stand with you. To my Muslim siblings, we see you. We stand with you. And to our neighbors, this is an invitation, not just to say words, but to live them every day, in your schools, in your home, in your workplaces, in your congregations, and on the streets. My glasses just fell. More importantly, when hate or bias occurs, we must not be silent. We must call it out. If you witness or experience hate, report it. In Our Own Voices is the home outside of New York City to one of the only LGBT Capital Region anti-violence project. And we're located on Lark Street. Again, if you witness, report it. We know that through the Division of Human Rights, Hate and Bias Prevention, that it's going underreported. We know that that hotline is not being utilized to its capacity. So I call on you, together, let's hold accountability and protect our community. Keyword, our community. We stand together because division is not our future. Unity is. Justice is. Love is. So let's keep moving forward together as one Albany, because this city belongs to us, and there's no place for hate here, never, ever. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tandra, and we can take questions from the press. Yep. So the chief can speak to the number of reported. I wanted to call this press conference because there are, as Tandra alluded to, this is underreported, and I wanted to bring attention to it to ensure that particularly members of the Jewish community know that they should call, that they need to call and let us know when they experience these types of horrific actions and unacceptable actions. You know, I think that our LGBTQ community has done a great job of stressing the importance of reporting hate crimes and reporting incidents when they have been singled out because of their LGBTQ status. But we wanted to ensure that we particularly focused on members of the Jewish community because, again, I've been surprised when there has been a crime reported to then hear from members of the community about 2, 3, 4 other incidents that individuals experienced that they didn't report. Chief?
So first of all, I agree with the mayor that this is something that's very underreported, which is one of the reasons why I'm very happy the mayor called us today. So for 2024, we had 13 reported hate-related crimes. For 2025 to date, we have 8. We obviously are not through this year. Over the past couple of months, it feels like we definitely have an increase in those numbers and the increase in the severity of those crimes. What we've also received over the past couple of months is, especially through a lot of open communication, is communication from many of the people that stand behind us of, hey, I heard something happened in this neighborhood, can we look into it? And what we wind up having to do is kind of backtrack to try to get information, and we're kind of behind the 8 ball trying to figure out what's happening. So that's why I implore everybody If you think something happened to you, if you heard something get yelled at you, whatever it might be, give us a call so we can look into it and we can figure out what the veracity of that is and where we can go from that.
Chief.
I'm sorry? It is actually a mix between anti-Semitic and anti-LGBTQ.
We'll do those separately. Thank you.